Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's BDL44 coming at you with another video. Uh, Blake Griffin is out of rotation. Kemba Walker is out of rotation. Why do I know this? I mean, granted, I know this because I'm an NBA person. I follow the NBA, and so if I want information, of course, that information is available to me. But what I'm saying to you is, I've been watching the NBA all my life. I don't remember them coming out saying stuff like this about players as it pertains to just announcing that they're no longer going to be in rotation. This is a new thing for the NBA. I don't remember that, especially players who have had cachet in the past. Now, granted, players have fallen out of rotation, obviously. That's not a new thing. But as far as announcing it to the fans so that they can absorb the information rather than just look up and not see their favorite player on the floor, that's new. That's really new to me. And the fact of the matter is that both of these players are, former stars, and they're both now playing in the New York market. Are we letting everybody know about everybody who's going to be out of rotation for every team? Or is it just the New York guys that you guys want to embarrass like this? I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it a certain way for no reason, apparently. Maybe I'm just weird this way, but it just seems to me that just seems like it would probably be best to just not make a formal announcement to say, hey, this guy's no longer going to be in rotation. Hey, look, he used to be a star, but now he's, or whatever. It just, I don't know. It just doesn't really sit right, I guess you could say. It doesn't feel right. I don't know. But either way, fact of the matter is I don't follow either one of those teams, so I couldn't really tell you how good or bad those guys are doing. I've heard that Blake Griffin has been significantly underperforming for his standards, and I have followed Kemba Walker in terms of fantasy basketball. I've been aware that he hasn't had fantasy value lately. So some of that with the Knicks situation is a little different to me because I think some of it has to do with the fact they have three very, very good guards in rotation. It's sort of like what Sacramento has going on. You look at Tyrese Halliburton and De'Aaron Fox and um, Davion Mitchell, who are all in rotation at this point. Obviously, different stages in their careers, but what I'm saying is three very productive guards in rotation, and because of it, you don't get a good, consistent um, dose of these guys. They don't really get a rhythm. They don't have a long rope to like make mistakes. They have to sit down, that kind of thing. So it's Kemba Walker's in that situation over there in New York with Derrick Rose and Emmanuel Quickly in very much a rotation at that point guard position. I mean, Derrick is playing at a great level. So if Kemba's not absolutely balling out, it's no room for him in that rotation. It's not necessarily a reflection upon him not being able to help a basketball team. It's more so just you know, a, a plethora of riches for the New York Knicks, I guess you could say. So I'm not too worried. I think it keeps the players healthy. If you're the New York Knicks, you're playing with playoff implications, playoff um, championship aspirations. And in my mind, just because Kemba Walker is out of rotation does not mean that that's a bad thing for your team long term. Because at the end of the day, Derrick Rose is going to have to carry his share of the load. He's going to miss some games. Quickly may be ready, may not be, but he's not getting those opportunities, so you don't really know if he's ready to be that guy. But if you have all three of them in rotation, they can keep each other healthy, play off one another throughout the season, give each other spells when they need to, that kind of thing. So I'm not worried about Kemba being out of rotation. He may be out of rotation today in November. Check back in February, he'll be back in rotation. Either that or he'll be off the team. But like I said, this is a team that's playing for something this year. They're not just rolling out there, just kind of running around. The Knicks are really doing it. So I think Kemba Walker fits on the team. He's what they need. If he were to get bought out, he would be looking for a place like the Knicks. You see what I'm saying? So this is just a situation where he's just going to get a chance to rest up. And this is the new norm for Kemba Walker. He's a role player in this league at this stage in his career. We know that. He hasn't been as productive. That's okay. Father time is what it is. But at the end of the day, he can give you some of that Lou Williams, some of that Jamal Crawford type of scoring punch. I think he's going to start finding himself in that role now to be that kind of guy. And that's perfectly fine. You can still do great damage from that particular role. And it's good because Kemba's not going to be asked to be a defender, even though they're a good defensive team. He can defend some. He's not asked to kind of take on those assignments, stuff like that. If he's not having a night, you just sit down. You know what I mean? And you got some other guys. So I don't think there's anything to panic about. I don't know if he's happy about this. He's probably not. But at this stage in his career, this is going to happen no matter where he goes. You're a role player and you're a veteran, so that means certain nights you're just not going to play. You know, that's just is what it is. So, yeah, man. As far as Blake Griffin's concerned, his situation may be a little different to me because of how poorly it's been reported that he's playing. That's my thing. I think it's a little different because, the Nets need front court help. Although LaMarcus Aldridge has come back and played phenomenally well for what you would expect him to play, they still don't really have that center player that they can really throw at the Joel Embiids and people like that. They need Blake Griffin to play very, very well, particularly on the offensive end, but also try to contribute on the defensive end if possible too. And at this stage in his career, maybe that's asking a lot for him to not be a role player right now. So, as I've said in the past, and I still feel this way, I've heard some others say it recently too, the Lakers and the Nets kind of have some of the same issues. Even though the Nets have a better record, they've had a better start to their season, I don't look at them as a team that's doing all that great. You got an MVP candidate in KD, you got James Harden struggling, you got Kyrie absent, and then you got aging roster of guys just like the Lakers, who some of them going to show up some nights, other nights not going to show up, and young players who may not necessarily be what they need to make them what they need to become to be a champion. So I don't look at the Brooklyn Nets right now as a team that's complete. They're going to need to make some moves, and maybe moving on from Blake Griffin is the move to make, or one of the moves to make. So yeah, even though one would say the Brooklyn Nets at start the season were obviously the favorites to win a championship, and the New York Knicks are a team that's just a playoff team. Right now, I think the Knicks are a better team than the Nets. I do. Overall, they're a better team, and I think right now you gotta see that that the Knicks are going to be coming in a different direction with more youth, more balance, and just more defense, in my opinion. Granted, the Nets' defense has improved from what I understand, but at the end of the day, I just prefer balance. I think one of the things that the Lakers and the Nets have taught me this season is just that I personally prefer a roster with two NBA max talents. Three, just, the more I look at those circumstances, the less I like them, unless they already have those role players in place to make it all make sense. If those players ain't already there, and you try to build after having those three superstars on tab, you're going to have situations like the Nets and the Lakers where it's just not going to be as good. So, unless those three players are playing absolutely phenomenally, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, man, that's what I think. I think, it's important to say that a team just won the championship, but having three max players in Milwaukee with Middleton, Giannis, and Drew Holiday. I believe they're all three max players. So I think that's important to state, but, they had a great bench. Their bench was in place. So, yeah, man, that's what I have to say, man. Very curious to see if these guys get back in rotation soon, or if this is something that's going to linger. Are they going to end up on these rosters later on because of this circumstance? I think Kemba, yes. Blake Griffin, probably yes, too, but you just don't know. So, yeah, we'll see, man. It's a lot to follow in the NBA. I think... Well, I don't want to sit up here and talk about stuff that I'm not certain about, but I know there's some players coming back from injury. I want to say Joel Embiid, I think, is back. Zion should be back very soon. That kind of thing. Evan Mobley just returned from injury. So it's a lot of guys coming back. The NBA is going to start swapping around in terms of you're going to see changes in teams' winning streaks and stuff like that because certain players are coming back into key situations. Players have been coming back and are now comfortable again, that kind of thing. Guys who came back from injury maybe 3 weeks ago have been playing for those 3 weeks. They should be rounding into form if they were struggling, that kind of thing. So it's a lot of stuff that's about to swap up. I see a switch in the NBA coming. In terms of some of these teams that are doing well, they're going to start falling off, and some of these teams that have been struggling, they're going to start getting healthy. So keep your eyes open for that. And that's what I got to say. My name is BDF44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.